Yeah, I'm Melissa, your free range psychic, and today I have a guest on with me. I have Adam Stargazing Astrology. How you doing, Adam?
Hi, everyone. I'm doing fantastic here. As you can see, I am floating in outer space and
He's on the
just about to come.
mothership.
Yep, and just about to come in for a landing for this wonderful collaboration with Melissa. And this is my first collaboration with Melissa, and I just want to say thank you so much for having me on your channel. It's a real honor.
You are so very welcome. I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, this is going to be wonderful. And so to everyone out there, I'm currently offering discounted astrological readings of all types, natal charts, transit charts. If you happen to be at any crossroads in your life, or if you have questions about a past event that you need clarification on, or a future event, or if you're interested in compatibility charts between you and someone else, perfect for any aspect of life, then please send me an email in my description, or excuse me, and the email is going to be in the description box below in this video.
Okay, so Adam, how do you want to go about this? How do you want?
All right. So I think the first thing, which would be wonderful to do, would be for me to read the collective forecast for the new moon. And so when I say collective, this is the forecast that pertains to everybody. So the new moon is going to be happening on November 23rd, which is a couple weeks away. So we have a wonderful time to be able to prepare for this new moon energy. So this new moon energy is composed a lot of Sagittarian energy. And the reason why I would say that this is probably kind of exciting is because we're in real Scorpio season now. Scorpio season is so heavy and so intense. Sagittarius season offers us a new, fresh perspective. Sagittarius is all about travel. It's all about exploration. It's ruled by the planet Jupiter, which stands for positivity and zest for life. Planets in Sagittarius tend towards the cup half full mentality. We tend to be more jolly, more merry. Our vitality tends to be better. We tend to be more positive during Sagittarius season as well. So the new moon happens when the sun sign and the moon sign are in the same astrological sign. And in this case, it's Sagittarius. So this November 23rd, during this new moon time, is definitely a time of rest and reflection, just like all new moon times. And it's a great time for planting seeds for what you want to see come to fruition. So even though we have these Sagittarius energies, the 23rd is going to give more of a inward and reflective type of energy. During the new moon, the energy is always much more psychic. Our ability to be able to tap into other realms, our ability to be able to tap into the collective unconscious and our dream world tends to be more heightened during this time. So what's going to be happening is there is going to be what's called a stellium in Sagittarius. That's 3 or more planets all in the same sign, which is Sagittarius, sitting right next to each other. So I would call this a bundle of Sagittarian energy. So this is a bundle of positivity. This is a bundle of zest for life. This is a bundle of optimism. During this time, we may want to travel. We may want to explore. And our energy might feel a little more light. We may want to decorate for Christmas. You know, we may also want to really enjoy Thanksgiving because, you know, Thanksgiving is right around this time as well. So what's going to be happening is that stellium, as I mentioned, is going to be what's called a trine aspect or a harmonious aspect to the planet Jupiter. Now, Sagittarius rules Jupiter energy. So whenever Jupiter is in a harmonious aspect to the planet Jupiter, this stands for good moral character and good integrity. Jupiter stands for the guru. It stands for our beliefs. It stands for our moral structure. It stands for our faith. So this is a time of energetic goodwill. Or if there's a lot of negativity out there, this is a time to be able to strive to see the positive within challenging circumstances. So this new moon is going to offer a much needed dose of positivity. So there are going to be another of couple aspects that are going to sort of switch the energy around a little. I always really like to start on that positive note. Some of these aspects that I'm mentioning here have been aspecting now for a while. So we're going to have a little bit of some energy frequencies that are going to be kind of the same as they are now. The first one is the planet Mars, which represents our energy. Mars is the god of war. Mars is going to be in Gemini. Gemini is verbal communication. Mars in Gemini, we have to be careful about like social media wars and things along those lines where people can get upset online.
Like watching Twitter in a flame. Sorry, that would that be it? Would that be an example of it?
Yeah. Melissa, exactly. Mars is going to be in a square aspect. In astrology, square aspects, they indicate intensity. They indicate dynamic. They indicate heartache. They indicate crisis. So whenever Mars is in a square, we know that there's going to be some conflicting energies. And Mars is in a square with the planet Neptune. Whenever we have Neptune in a square, it can indicate delusion, illusion, deceit, guilt, lies, things like not telling the truth. So this energy, Neptune also affects the masses. So this energy is at play right now. A lot of people can be disillusioned around things, and a lot of people can be jumping on a bandwagon that's not necessarily great for the collective or great for our evolution, because they're thinking it's the right thing to doing because they are being disillusioned and they have illusions around it that they are not able to see beyond. So this Mars Neptune is going to be affecting the collective very much. As said before, the planet Neptune has a lot to do with the collective.
Yeah. I'm already thinking QAnon, social media and media being gaslighting us, being owned by, foreign agents like Putin and the majority of it, right? I think we're going through that energy right now because what we see reflected in the media is not the reality, and it's politically specifically focused on giving us this illusion or delusion, which is causing a lot of consternation because people either get very, very frightened and they don't know what to do about it, or they tune out, so I see that happening right now, and I've seen it happening with this election. Is that an example?
Yes, an example, a perfect example. QAnon, right? QAnon is delusional. People fall for these delusions on a mass scale. So it's basically like mass hypnotism. Neptune, again, the planet with the collective, also has a lot to do with like a mass hypnotism, a mass hysteria, creating illusions, creating delusions, creating chaos, but then masking for something that is supposedly right. The cult worship that can also have an aspect with a Neptune.
Like calling Trump God, Jesus reborn, or
cult worship,
Messiah, because there are paintings of him as Christ. That's what they. And then that would make sense in that whole warped delusion of QAnon thinking they're, fighting for the against the vampires and the satanic Hollywood and Washington politician personalities, and they're going to save the world that way. But that's example, right?
Yeah, and Melissa, unfortunately, when we have Mars involved in this, Mars is the god of war. It can create mass violence,
like Paul Pelosi, or the January 6th, or
chaos and violence. This energy.
Yeah, that makes total sense and reflected in our reality right now.
Yeah. So that's a really big one right now. So the last aspect I'm going to be talking about is another huge aspect as well. So it's the North Node. The North Node represents our evolutionary direction of growth. So the collective North Node is in Taurus right now. Taurus represents material stability, represents finances, it represents material tangibility. It's sitting right next to the planet Uranus. Uranus is unstable, and it's about change. It's about volatility. Uranus in Taurus is what is considered in its fall position. or it's a position of weakness. So our north node is sitting next to an aspect that shakens it up. Taurus is the number one planet that likes stability. Uranus changes things. So again, we continue to see instability with the financial market, right? Stocks, crypto, things like that. Taurus also has a lot to do with stewardship, esoteric stewardship of the earth and of the land. Uranus is lightning bolts. It's changes. It's sudden highs, sudden lows. Uranus sitting next to Taurus definitely is a strong representation of like global warming. So it's also squaring or in a tense, chaotic aspect to the planet Saturn. Saturn represents the Lord of Karma. So what we're talking right now is we're talking about the collective Lord of Karma, kind of up in all of our faces for a review. Whenever we get square aspects, it brings up tension, it brings up crisis, but it comes up in our face so blatantly because it's needing to be addressed and it's needing to be reviewed. We can't keep hiding behind it. So what this means, this is a strong energetic friction between the desire to move forward with new progressive ideals as represented by the planet Uranus, and a desire to hold back to the past and to traditions that aren't working as represented by the planet Saturn. So through our growth and through our evolution now, we're having to have this friction between the new and the old. Uranus essentially ends up winning, but it's not going to be a trine aspect, which is harmonious. It's coming through like a step and a half forward and a step and a half back, a step and a half forward, a step and a half back. And each time it hits this intense square aspect. So everything that's uncomfortable is up in our face.
That pretty much describes what we're all going through right now. You have, the Democrats and Joe Biden and this progressive movement, and then you have the Republicans that want to take us back in time and the time of slavery and no rights for anybody except a Caucasian landowner. So, and this is right in our faces. There's very little give here. Yeah. So, wow, that's exactly how things are.
Yeah.
But Uranus, you said it's going to win. We have to move forward. Plus, we're either on the cusp or into Aquarius right now, right? With Saturn having moved into Aquarius last December, and then Pluto's going to be in Aquarius. I think that is a harbinger of the age of Aquarius, and so this is this polarity and this cusp energy as we leave Pisces, and now here we are in Aquarius, and but we have to resolve karma, right? We have to resolve it. So go on. Yeah, that's so interesting. I love astrology, by the way.
It's really interesting. Yeah. So yeah, you're absolutely correct. Those Uranian energies eventually erode the Saturn energies.
That makes sense too, because people who are in dense energy, and that's where they live, they want to hold on to dense energy. They don't want the higher vibrational frequencies. It's not where they live, and they will do almost anything for them not to be able to be dominant. So that creates them bear down harder on the dense energy and bring in denser energy, which is fear, which is anger, which is greed, all of these things. And they use them to bring other people down into that energy. So that makes sense why things are just so intense right now, and why we're being, the powers that own the media, who I think are, foreign entities like Putin, are using that to bring us to our fear and our denser energies, because that's a tool. It's like this cosmic battle that's going on between the higher frequencies and the lower frequencies, and so we have to figure it out ourselves how we're going to deal with that. Yeah, exactly. So interesting.
Yeah, wow. It's like it's sort of like a movie, but not, but
it's like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or something like that, where there's this real dichotomy, but there's always the I don't want to say just the human, because Lord of the Rings, even the puppets have to go through this self-examination and this commitment where they might question why they're suffering so much, but then they double down to bring in the light to to finish the quest so they can save the world. And that's a test. It's a challenge. Yeah, even when things seem so dark. Do you fall back in despair? Do you go back to the Shire, or do you move forward, to complete your destiny, no matter what? Yeah, and that's repeated, and it's the hero's journey, I guess. But in so many of the those wonderful sagas, yeah,
most definitely,
yeah. We're all on the hero's journey, right?
We are, and it's been intense lately.
Oh my God, yeah. So carry on.
Okay, so that sums up the collective forecast.
Oh wow!
So what we have to look forward to was those energies in the beginning, those Sagittarian energies, which are going to lighten things up for a bit. So
good.
Yeah,
we need to be lightened up. We need to have a little bit of a break.
We do. So so now I'm going to talk about Ron DeSantis and the red wave, whatever that meant. And
I'm in Michigan, so we have flip the House blue, flip the Senate blue, and we have we have Governor Whitmer and Nessel, and it's the first time that we've had a Democratic House and Senate for like 40 odd years. It's amazing here, amazing. And this was a real what's the word for it? Where the Koch brothers and the GOP. This was one of the places where they were hunkered down, and so many involved in the January 6th insurrection. And we have DeVos here. It's just mind-blowing that we did it. And we also have we voted, I think it's Proposition 3, to get a pro-choice abortion into like codified into our Constitution. So hey, go on. I'm sorry. It's amazing, though.
No, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
But it's been an amazing time, and we've been struggling with all these astrological energies, right? Whilst this has been going on, and because of this transit or these transits that are propelling this, we're supposed to be going through this. This is our evolutionary journey, right? So go on. Tell us about Ron DeSantis. Oh my God!
Crazy. All right, so Ron DeSantis, just like the majority of people that I see in the limelight and politicians, has his sun sign in the 10th house. So the 10th house is the sector which stands for the public image. It's the sector which stands for career and vocation and ambition. So whenever I see someone with a 10th house sun sign, I have to really wonder whether they're in it to actually be a public service or whether they're in it more for ego gratification. For example, Donald Trump has his sun sign in the 10th house. So we have clearly seen that Ron DeSantis with a 10th house sun sign is really in it for his own ego gratification. So he has the planet Venus, which represents relationships, in the 12th house. The 12th house represents loneliness, it represents solitude, it represents isolation. Venus likes people around. Venus in the 12th house is a deep sense of loneliness and isolation. So beyond the persona that this man has, there's a deep sense of loneliness and isolation in the realm of relationships. He is energetically and emotionally, he's a bit of a black hole. He wants to fill it more and more and more like Donald Trump, but that hole is so void and so empty because of a huge sense of loneliness that no matter what he does, he tries to fill it more and more and more. It's maybe, likened to maybe like a super obese person who just eats a bunch of junk food all day, right? There's no nutritional value, but they just keep, feeding themselves with more and more unhealthy food. So it's something like that. On an emotional basis. So his moon sign is in Aquarius. And the moon represents the emotional undercurrent and the emotional undertone. The moon in Aquarius is a fixed element. In astrology, we have cardinal, fixed, and mutable as far as the elements and modes. Fixed is all about sustaining one idea. So the moon is that which fluctuates and that which changes. The moon in Aquarius is very fixed in opinion. Aquarius is an air sign that rules opinions. The energies of Aquarius, they like to think of themselves as progressive and democratic. That can be the case sometimes, but with Ron DeSantis' moon in Aquarius, he's more acting out a state of rebellion. For example, we see the whole thing going on with the masks a while ago. You want to mask up because there are people, that naturally have low immunity, right? And you don't want to get each other sick. So he was totally rebellious against that. That would be a classical moon in Aquarius rebellion and going against the grain. So he has the planet Pluto. Pluto represents power and power dynamics, power structures. He has Pluto in the 11th house. The 11th house stands for the social atmosphere and group consciousness and social circles. Pluto in the 11th house likes to dominate and have power in the social sphere. So we very much see that with him. He has risen to power in that social sphere and will do anything with it, anything to keep that power, especially because it plays off that sun sign in the 10th house as well. It rubs his ego structure the right way. And one of the last aspects is he has the planet Uranus, which indicates instability and change and rebellion. He has it in the 12th house. So the 12th house, loneliness, themes of loneliness, isolation. But another strong theme of the 12th house is self-undoing. So in life, we build, we're slowly building our structures all the way up, right? We finally go around the zodiac, we get to the 11th house, our structure is very formulated. We can go out in society and share our structure. Things start to break down energetically in the 12th house. Uranus is rebellion, Uranus is change. So this can be an indication that his radical rebelliousness could eventually lead to his own self-undoing. So that is Ron DeSantis' astrological chart in a nutshell.
Do you know his transits right now, or?
I do have his transits right now. Yeah. And yeah,
I want to know what they are.
Yeah. And it's because the man is literally like on fire, so to speak, right now.
Why? What's going on with him?
So he has, the planet Venus, represents relationship. It's in a harmonious aspect to his moon sign, which represents his emotional stability, and a trine aspect because the trine is harmonious. This is popular public image. He also has Mars in 3 aspects that are going on. Mars is energy. In 2 of those aspects, he has Mars squares. Square aspects, they indicate dynamic energy, things, challenges to overcome, energy to surmount. He has Mars squaring his North Node. His North Node stands for his karmic direction. This gives him a lot of energy, and energy at his disposal to be able to go along and develop his karmic direction. Mars is also squared his sun sign. So we see here Mars is a real key factor for him right now. It's squaring his sun sign. That creates a desire and this ego insatiability with a Mars square to his sun sign, which is his ego. So his ego is insatiable right now. It's being rubbed, it's being pet, it's being stroked in all these ways, and he's in this sort of like tizzy, this sort of ego bath going on. But as we know, right, and we see it with Donald Trump, we see it with, Icarus, right? Flies too high, he has the wings, right? He's been given the wings right now. But just you wait, right? Those wings eventually come off, right? He's having his ultimate rush right now. Time keeps on going, right? We'll see what happens.
Well, there's Trump, who's already spilling some dish on Ron DeSantis, or as he calls him, Ron DeSanctimonious.
Right. Already.
And he's going to bring DeSantis down. He will. I have no doubt about it. I've seen it coming for a long time. You have two narcissists, right? And you have Trump, who bought DeSantis up, and he made him, he can break him, because the idea that it's like mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all, right? Maleficent? This is his Maleficent moment. He will not let DeSantis usurp him. He will not let people fawn, if he can help it, on DeSantis and eclipse him. It's not within his makeup. He can't. So he's already slinging arrows, and he knows the dirt on DeSantis, apparently. And this is something I just heard on a liberal show that I listen to, that I trust, and it's just allegedly that Trump approached Rolling Stone magazine and gave them information, allegedly, about some of his personal life that he doesn't want out, but Rolling Stone has, as of yet, declined to make it public. So that's interesting. And these guys, think about it, this Ron DeSantis, Matt Gaetz, Greenberg, I mean, these people are really bottom feeders and have been involved in a lot of very nefarious stuff. And I could say allegedly, but we already know Joel Greenberg, who was friends with these people, has so many counts against him, and is still negotiating with the DOJ because of all his crimes. And he was besties with Gaetz, and Gaetz was besties with DeSantis. So it truly is a swamp, ironically, there, So it would make sense with what you were saying regarding these aspects, that he, and the idea of DeSantis, so him and his white shrimping boots that he wore, like, it's just funny to see him as Icarus. But yeah, he wants this. He wants this so badly. He wants to be president. He really sees himself as president, but he's a sad little man, and he doesn't have as much as right now they want to, because they see Trump melting down. They see Trump, what he's done to the Republican Party. Like Murdoch, at least ostensibly, has backed away from Trump. Everybody's angry at Trump, and you can see these pundits, these GOP pundits, like bashing him. This is his moment, like you said, to shine. This is where his wings are up, but I can see he will get way too close to the sun. He just doesn't have the appeal. He's not going to be president. But no. What he has done to Florida, how he has destroyed democracy there, and how he has bought in, and I believe, I call it Little Moscow, Florida, because I truly believe, allegedly, that he has been the gateway for Putin and the Russians to have a foothold here. And Trump, he's protected Trump. He's protected all these GOP criminals. Florida, he has its own army, right? Like, I think DeSantis created his own, like, Secret Service and his own army, his own militia or whatever. But I'm glad to hear that my beliefs are backed up by astrology, because it's gonna be interesting what's coming next. I mean, the fight between Trump and DeSantis has already started, but it's gonna get really hot, because right now, I'll just say this: this is on Trump on Truth Social melting down. Just wait until Roger Stone and that ilk, because Roger Stone has threatened, start releasing the real dirt on DeSantis. That's where it's going to get really interesting. Yeah. Huh.
We're in for something.
we are. I have no doubt about it. It just makes sense. I mean, you logically don't have to be a psychic to know what I'm saying. You just have to, read the signs. It's a very clear to me. So does that encapsulate his transits? Are there other ones, or are those the main?
Yeah, the Mars aspects.
Oh, this has been so interesting, Adam. Wow. Yeah. Is there any other thing you want to talk about?
That's pretty much it for today.
Okay, this has been great. I'm so glad you came on the show. I have to have you back.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me, Melissa. And again, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Adam Stargazing Astrology, and all the description is going to be in the box below, and I'm offering discounted readings for the season. Thank you.
This has been great, Adam. Thank you for being on my show.
Thanks so much for having me on, Melissa. Appreciate it.
Okay. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.